Hello, and welcome to Changes in Teaching Methods in the Caribbean. I am your presenter, Ashford Tambi, and today we would be looking at the teaching methods that we know about, what has happened in the past, what is going on in the present, and what the future holds for us. The term teaching method refers to the general principles, pedagogy, and management strategies used for classroom instruction. Your choice of teaching method depends on what fits you, your educational philosophy, classroom demographic, subject areas, maybe a school mission statement. The teaching theories can be based on two major parameters: a teacher-centered approach versus a student-centered approach. The teacher-centered versus the student-centered is a good place to start because these methods are usually seen as opposed to each other, though they can be seen as complementary. Direct instruction is used to help children acquire knowledge and action sequences. Indirect instruction, which involves inquiry-based problem-solving and project-based learning, is used to enable children's understanding of the physical, social, and psychological world in which they live. In addition to different goals, the two groups of methods derive from different theories about learning and employ different practices. Both groups of methods belong to schools. Most people have had a very traditional concept of teaching. If we were to ask a parent how she imagines her child in school, she will describe a classroom with a teacher standing at the front, near a board, be it white or black, green, and pupils, hopefully in a small number, sitting at tables, 1 by 1, 2 by 2, row behind row, listening and writing. Now, if we were to ask a typical educator how teaching is best performed, he or she may murmur something about active learning, collaborative learning, technology, web tools. What about you? What do you think? This is what a recent study on creativity and innovation in education in the European Union reported. Conventional ways of teaching, that is the teacher-centered methods, frontal teaching and chalk and talk, prevail in a majority of schools in the European Union. However, educational theorists abound, from Piaget to Bruner to Zoltan and others, who have understood the fact that students learn best when they are allowed to actively participate in the formation of educational experiences. So, what do we have? What theories are behind our teaching methods? We were looking at behaviorism. Behaviorism stems from the work of B.F. Skinner and the concept of operational conditioning. Behaviorism theorists believe that knowledge exists independently and outside of people. They view the learner as a blank slate who must be provided with the experience. Behaviorists believe that learning actually occurs when new behaviors or changes in behaviors are acquired through some association between stimuli and responses. Then we have cognitism. Cognitive information processing is based on the thought process behind the behavior. The theory is based on the idea that humans possess the information they receive, rather process the information they receive, rather than merely responding to the stimuli. The changes in behavior are observed, but only as an indicator to what is going on in the learner's head. The learner's mind is like a mirror from which new knowledge and skills will be reflected. Cognitive information processing is used when the learner plays an active role in seeking ways to understand and process the information. And our third theory, constructivism, is based on the premise that we all construct our own perspective of the world, based on individual experiences and internal knowledge. Learning is based on how the individual interprets and creates the meaning of his or her experiences. Knowledge is constructed by the learner, and since everyone has a different set of experiences and perceptions, learning is now unique and different for each person. How do you teach? Which theory do you think that you follow the most? With behaviorism, examples of this application could be drill, rote work, repetitive practice, bonus points whereby you get incentives, or even participation points, verbal reinforcement, or even the establishment of rules. Cognitism, however, is whereby you are linking concepts with something that was known. You give students real-world examples. You have discussions, problem-solving, analogies, imagery, mnemonics. And then, in constructivism, we talk about where we have case studies, research projects, problem-based learning, brainstorming, collaborative learning, a lot of group work, discovery learning, and a lot of simulations. So how has this affected teaching methods? We know about lectures, class discussion, demonstration, reports, databases, debates, group work, game simulation, drama, role play, and even the most popular now, technology. What do you use in your classroom? The evolution of teaching methods has come a long way. Within the Caribbean, in the pre-colonial times, we could see whereby teachers, in the colonial times, it was just basically reading, writing, whereby a teacher or a schoolmaster, they just gave the information. In the 1940s, the teacher is seen as the sage on the stage. Students are empty vessels that teachers fill with knowledge. As we move along into the 1970s, this is where CXC comes into play. The introduction of vocational subjects in the curriculum, work experience programs, right? In the 1990s, because of this, there had to be a shift in some of the teaching methods, because whereby teachers now had to use audiobooks, visual books, right? So many different forms in order to capture the students' attention and to cater for the different needs of their students. In the 2000s is where we had a lot of innovation. We now had PowerPoint presentation, the use of no longer a chalkboard but a whiteboard, and teachers now started to give handouts. They started to use a lot of references. So there was more knowledge based on the different learning styles of students. 2010s is where we started blended learning, the use of technology as well as face-to-face learning. And then we know the future. Or do we? Science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Teaching is redefining the game. Mobile technology is opening new ways of learning. And in fact, there is slightly horrifying statistics that states that more people in the world own a mobile phone than a toothbrush. Imagine that. Remote learning is increasingly becoming simpler, and learning can be more focused around collaboration. And what does this mean for the Caribbean context? In Trinidad and Tobago, the CA examination has completely changed its format. Therefore, teachers now have to teach students about these critical thinking skills. We see that also happening in Jamaica, and as well as in Barbados, whereby their exam, the primary exit profile, the PEP, in Jamaica, has changed, whereby critical thinking involves the solving of the complex issues and problems by analyzing and interpreting the information to make informed judgments and decisions. So they are asking the children to think critically, to think creatively, to have mastery at the subjects that they are entering, that they are taking. In Barbados, we see the evolution of where CXC was to CSEC to CAPE. And we know that teachers would have had to cater for all the different learning styles of their students. So, what does the Future Initiative Creating Media Using Technology? Digital Youth Network focuses on teaching students to create podcasts, videos and recording music, youth voices, comic strip creation, slides, stringing together images and videos. Students in high school and college, they are even using digital technology to make digital portfolios, showcasing their work on websites, whereby they have podcasts, their course of study, they are developing courses, using graphics, spreadsheets, web pages, and so much more. Thus, the central point of this discourse is not to make a case against the use of technology in the classroom. Instead, it is to point out that the tenets of good teaching and learning transcend the simple use of a laptop or a projector or any software. Teaching methods has evolved over time, and the provision of feedback, effective questioning, hands-on experiences, on-point evaluations is what has made up the backbone of good teaching for this new millennium. What has changed has been the methodology utilized to bring them across to students. The use of technology is merely a method. It is a how, and neither a what nor a why. This has been my presentation to you. What are your teaching methods? Did you see an evolution of the teaching methods in the Caribbean over the last millennia? I hope that you have enjoyed my presentation. My name is Ashford Tambi. Goodbye.